Is it possible to put out the sun? For example, what happens if we pour the entire Earth's ocean or even more water on it? Well, let's find out. The universe is full of mysteries. Since ancient times, scientists have been arguing about how the cosmos works, but no one has ever doubted the existence of one thing, and the sun is the center of the solar system. It is big, bright, and immortal. No, not really. In fact, the sun is an ordinary star. It consists of 75% hydrogen, as well as helium and a pinch of heavy elements. Gravity holds it all together. But in about 5 billion years, the life cycle of the sun will come to an end. The hydrogen inside it will run out, our star will begin to grow gradually. And you can't even imagine how big it will become. And then it will start devouring all the nearby planets. That's when we'll regret being so close to her. This is a number with 18 zeros. Oh well. Imagine that we magically got so many buckets, it's time to put out the sun. This is a number with 18 zeros. Oh well. Imagine that we magically got so many buckets, it's time to put out the sun. We spray the star with all this water and nothing serious. Just look at that sun. Probably took pity on us and produced one small solar flare. It turns out that all the water on Earth is just a pathetic drop for the sun. People often underestimate how much the sun is bigger than our planet. In fact, it can hold more than 1,300,000 globes. So, yes, the sun won't go out and it won't even get colder. It will not notice that we have done something, but let's not give up, because for some reason we really want the sun to go out. What happens if we pour enough water on it, and how much is enough? Remember our quintillions of buckets? In fact, we need about 370 octillions, including 27 zeros. It's hard to even imagine. So let's just say it's a lot of water. And now let's sprinkle it in the sun again. Just look at this steam, but the sun has not gone out again. On the contrary, it said thank you, and suddenly it became much bigger and brighter. The thing happens is that it does not burn like a bonfire in the sun. Chemical combustion occurs inside the bonfires and candle flames. Garenge, when we pour water on the fire, the water absorbs the heat of the flame and cools it so much that it can no longer support the Garenge reaction. It also blocks oxygen access to the fire. Yes, water essentially stops the chemical process, but Garenge sun is not the same reaction. We say it's burning, but that's not quite true. What is happening is called nuclear fusion. This is one of the most violent and insane reactions in the universe. There are many layers of hydrogen in the depths of the sun. If you take 4 hydrogen atoms and put them together, you get a helium atom. On the scale of the sun, the process is a little more complicated. When a star tries to carry out this synthesis, positively charged protons repel each other. It takes a lot of strength and energy to somehow squeeze them together. Fortunately, there is a magic force in space, it is gravity. The sun accounts for 99.8% of the total mass of the solar system. Solid, right? And all this mass holds the sun together with the help of an incredible gravitational force. So gravity takes quadrillions of small hydrogen atoms and pushes them against each other every second without stopping. And when they collide, energy is released. Unlike fire, the sun does not need oxygen for life, it needs hydrogen, and we know that water is H2O. It's made up of hydrogen and oxygen, so it's literally fuel for the sun. It's like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. More importantly, the extra mass added by water will make the sun heavier. Gravity will thank you for your help, and will begin to collide protons with each other even faster, and thanks to this synthesis will accelerate. Great, we made the sun incredibly strong, and now it has eaten us along with other planets. And if we keep adding water, the sun will collapse sooner or later. It will blow away its outer layers and turn into a black hole. Amazing. Now it will pull in absolutely everything around. Let's rewind, because it's obvious that our experiment with water was a mistake. One small solar flare sounds much better. And so, we return to our usual calm Sunday. But it seems we forgot something. Obviously, water was critically important for life on Earth. Who would have thought? Now where the oceans used to be, there is a huge number of motionless fish and other sea creatures. Poor creatures, deep sea inhabitants could not stand the sudden change in pressure. Algae and corals dried up. Wait a minute, aren't they responsible for producing 50 to 80% of the world's oxygen? It's time to put on oxygen masks. And how are things on land? Actually, everything is dry now. but you get the gist. Wow, how bright it is here. If there are no oceans, then there are no clouds, no rain. Now there are forest fires everywhere. Poor animals are forced to escape and leave their homes. And it's not a fact that they will be able to find new ones. After all plants, of course, will dry up quickly. There will be no place for life on the planet. The earth will turn into a giant desert. But people have been living in deserts for thousands of years. Right? Maybe they know what to do. I don't know. After all, people in the desert also need to drink, so now there is complete chaos everywhere, and the survivor is fighting for the last drops of water. If there are any survivors at all. In fact, no matter how they fight for resources, their fate is sealed. The oceans absorb a huge amount of carbon dioxide and heat coming from the sun. They also distribute this heat throughout the planet, making it comfortable for life. And as soon as they disappear, the temperature will quickly jump to 120 degrees Celsius and above. But even if we forget about the high temperatures, we don't have clouds right now. And they were very useful, as they did not miss solar radiation. Now we are under the direct influence of the sun's rays, and our last hope is icebergs. When everything got terribly hot, they melted, and perhaps they will be the last hope for humanity. But this cool solar flare was definitely worth it.